Hello, everyone. This is John Maddox. Hey, I want to give you my update for the last week of training for the 800-pound deadlift. So I want to give people a summary here as we move along. I know every time we talk each week, we talk about a little bit more, and people start, I think, losing, what's overall happened to me here, since my hip initially popped back in October of last year, right? 2023. And then I've been working on getting my hips strong again. I ended up getting my all-time biggest squat earlier here in 2024. And then in June, my hip popped back out again because I kept trying to push these conventional movements. And then what I realized is that it's the conventional deadlift movements, like the one that I used to love doing for a long time, which was the mid shin, but what I call a power stiff-legged deadlift, right, in a conventional deadlift position. But ever since I've been trying to push these things, all it's been doing is irritating my hip and creating problems for me, leading up to my hip being popped out again in June of 2024. And so this is the third 3 weeks that I have trained since the meet, where I've had a chance to now start, pulling from the floor. And then so the first week back, I'm doing super wide, wider than I normally would ever think of deadlifting, just to try to develop hip strength. And then what I do is, before I do those deadlifts, is I do standing good mornings now. And I do them with a wide stance so it doesn't irritate my hip. And ever since I have now transitioned to not forcing myself to do conventional movements, to start doing everything with the sumo with my legs, even my standing good mornings, my hip doesn't really bother me at all. My hip actually feels really good. I mean, I feel like a new person. So it's really been great news. But I had to learn how to retrain everything in a different way. And so what's happening now that, I've done this movement now 3 different times. So this upcoming week is off. I got a big due date here on Tuesday, which is one of my big tax due dates. So I'm not going to be training this next week, and then I'm back. And then that will be my 4th week of deadlifting super wide in the first week, followed, but I do my standing good mornings with a wide stance first. And those are coming back fast, because you can't deadlift 800 pounds if you have a weak lower back. And so my biggest challenge, right, trying to do this 800-pound deadlift, when I was trying to bring it down lower, starting to do negatives with it, is the fact that I was having problems with my hip, especially after it came out in June, and how painful it was for me to do that third negative at 800 pounds when my hip was out. But now that I'm not, forcing myself to do conventional movements, my hip feels awesome, feels great. So, and my lower back's coming back with the wider stance. So I believe this upcoming week here, even though I think I did like 325 is what I did for my standing good mornings, but I did it very easy. I could have done another 50 pounds if I wanted to, where I had a challenge with these at first for the first 3 weeks, first 3 times coming back, right? So this has been 3-week training cycles, right? Which are with a week off in between. So in the very first week, super wide sumos, right? And prior to the super wide sumos, I do standing good mornings with a wide stance. So this first week back, I'll be doing the same thing, but I will be trying to do close to 400 pounds in the standing good morning. I believe my lower back is coming back. I was pretty close to doing 500. I never did it with the conventional stance on those, but again, my hip was really bothering me back then when I used to try to do the standing good mornings without a wide stance. So, and my hip has been feeling so good, not forcing it out all the time, that my training is doing really well. So anyways, yes. So it popped back in October last year, but it popped out again in June. Now I don't do anything, any work for my lower back conventional at all, right? Everything is wide stance. And because of that, my hip feels great. And my lower back strength is coming back. And so I told you I was going to try to push it a little bit here in the 3rd week. So, we have 2 different metal platforms in the gym. One of them is a 2 wood, is like about 8.5 inches, well, actually 9.5 inches, right? Is what the weight would be off the ground without putting any type of platforms, on the floor to cut that distance. And then the other one is about 5.5 inches off the floor. And so I've been using 2 wood platforms now since I've been coming back for these 3 3-week cycles that I just did in the third week. So when I, in October, when I was coming back, I was just concentrating on my squat, and I was only putting one platform in on the floor. And each platform is about 2.5 inches. So I was using only one platform. And so I was moving the weight about eight inches, right? 7.5 inches, something like that. And, and now, I'm using 2 wood platforms, so I'm putting 5 inches in there. So I'm moving it 4.5 inches. So I'm moving it more than I would if I used the shorter metal platforms by about 1/2 inch, because I measured it the other day. So it's about a 1/2 inch difference. So, and I went and I squatted this week, because last week, I didn't feel that great last week for some reason. I think I went really crazy in that first week. My body was a little weak in the second week. I even missed 590 in the squat, but of course, I had it a little different than I normally do. I have an issue with breathing because of the congestion. This week, the congestion felt much better. So hopefully the congestion is finally going away. I don't know why. It's been here about 2 months now. But what I did this last 3 weeks, I said, you know what, if I have congestion, I'm just going to deal with it. So I haven't skipped anything. I did all my assistance stuff until my last upper body workout here on Friday, just because, I'm a CPA. I had a busy day, and I have to get stuff done here by Tuesday. So it's actually perfect timing. I'm off this week. That way I can work, late on Monday, and actually make sure I get everything out here on Tuesday. Don't have to worry about going to the gym. So it allows me to make those days very efficient, where I can put a lot of hours in. I was in here on Saturday working, so obviously working after the gym on Friday. So it puts me in a good situation. But when you do, like me, I did, 675 or 10 reps in the shrug. Well, it's going to make it a little hard to bench when your shoulders are tired. So, but I pulled 770 from the 2 wood platforms. So that is being about 4.5 inches above the ground. All right. So, and now that my lower back's getting stronger, I believe that that's going to be 800 here very soon. I don't know when we come back if it will be this first 3 weeks back, but I think it's definitely about the second 3 weeks back. I will be attempting it. And if I miss it, and then I'll pull one platform out, and then I'll just do it from a little bit of a higher, a little bit further distance from the ground. But, where I want it to just really, work all those different positions, I just really haven't, because I'm having this respiratory thing. And by the time I get there, I just don't have a lot left. So, because I'm in it pretty hard. And then what I did here on Tuesday is I felt bad I didn't get up to 675 for what I usually do as a negative on the squat the previous week. I mean, I even missed 590 in the squat, and I just said, hell with it. And I just, did my other assistance and left. I attempted 675 in the squat. I brought it all the way down, and I came up with it a good inch or two. I was very strong in the squat here on Tuesday. So before I attempted that 770, which I did lock out, I attempted a 675 squat, not a negative, and I came up with it a little bit before I went back down. So I think that 675 or 680 pound squat is coming. All that work I've been doing, I think it's coming around the corner here pretty soon. So I was very excited about that. So as you guys know, within the last couple of weeks too, I actually got my best bent row ever with 545 pounds. My bent row was not that strong here on Friday. So I just kind of wrapped it up and got out of there. But, my training is coming together. Like I said, I see the 800 coming. Now that I figured out how to still train my lower back without injuring the hip. So I think going forward here, things are going to be exciting. So, but anyways, for everybody that's, coming along here with my journey to deadlift 800, which I believe I'll be the oldest guy to deadlift 800 pounds. I believe it's coming very soon. I'm very happy with the progress I've been making. All right, everyone, we'll see you next week. Have a good one. Bye.